Hey, okay, let's welcome to Touch by Prayer. My goodness gracious, this was crazy. All of a sudden my whole thing went boom. So, not quite sure what happened, but welcome to Touch by Prayer. So excited to have you guys back on. I hope that people are here. We're going to have to hopefully it's going to work. We'll see. Hopefully it's going to work. Let me see if everybody is streaming. Let's see. I think hold on, let's see. We're still having some problems. Yep, let's see. Let's see if we can do something, but we lost all connectivity. I'm so sorry, Jel. Usually it's not like this, just saying, but everything just went okay. There we go. I think we're up and running. This was crazy. Hey, Tara. Oh, yeah. You think YouTube was down? I think everything went down. Everything literally went down. So, welcome to Touch by Prayer. We'll do a slow opening. We'll do a slow roll. We'll start with I don't even know what to start with, but this is crazy. But before, let me bring on my guest, Del Hungerford. I got to meet Del in person in 2017, but prior to that, I heard all about her and how she was teaching people about frequencies and about healing baths, and she's written books, and she's just amazing. And so God always has a time where he likes to put people back together, and this is that time. So without further ado, please welcome to the broadcast, Del Hungerford. Hi, Del. Welcome. That was nuts.
Hello to you too.
That was nuts. What the heck?
We were watching stuff and all of a sudden it got quiet.
It got very quiet. I know. I feel like you didn't get like the full. I think you got the full opening, but it was a little weird. I'm afraid to right now. We're doing okay, but this is a little
We'll just release some tech angels in there to keep it going.
Well, it's funny. It seems like I'm streaming everywhere. So if you are here, please go ahead and say hello, because I think that what happened is everything, like it just seemed like everything went. YouTube went down, so I'm not quite sure, but yeah, it's if I lost my if we're even. I think it's, but I can't even
You're
tell.
glitching a little bit.
I am glitching.
You're glitching a little bit.
Yeah, let me see if let me see. I'm going to try this. Okay, so hold time. Don't go anywhere. Just hang tight. Let me see if this works.
I could sing a cheesy song, but I'll spare you all.
Okay. I should be better. Yes? Can you hear me? Okay. Goodness gracious. That was nutty. That was a little nutty, I'm just going to say. Okay. So we are here on Touch by Prayer. I have the wonderful Del Hungerford on, and we are going to talk about her life, her books, her music. But most importantly, we're going to talk about frequencies. Now, I know for a lot of people, that new age term gets them all nutty. And why is that, Del? Why do you think that everybody gets so nutty when you start talking about frequencies in Jesus? Why do you think they get that way? Hey, I'm going to listen. Here we go.
Is that a rabbit trail we really want to go down?
Oh, yeah. Watch this. Ready? We're going to start with this. Here we go. Yeah, we're going there. We're going to go there. Because I think a lot of people, like when I first heard you and you started to talk about frequencies, we think of frequency as a new age thing. However, what we have come to realize is that frequency is a Jesus thing, is a Papa thing, and is a Holy Spirit thing, because they use their frequency, the frequency that went from heaven, created pretty much everything. Is that correct?
This is a true story.
This is a true story. And so people get, like, I had a conference one year. I had a Daddy's Girl conference, and I called it Releasing Heaven's Frequency. And oh boy, did I get in trouble. Everybody came at me. Oh, that's New Age. That's this. You're this. I mean, they wanted to tie me to a stake and burn me. But what the Lord really talked to me is, he started to talk to me about the importance of frequency, and how frequency for a lot of people is a game changer, because everything in our world is trying to lower our frequency, and that includes the enemy.
I have a gesture which I'll reserve for later that the enemy gets.
I know.
But anyway, every thought creates a frequency. Every intention creates a frequency. Every word creates a frequency. The Bible says life and death are what? In the power of the tongue.
That's it.
And in the New Testament, it says that the tongue is a small rudder on a ship that controls the entire ship.
Yep.
But you don't have words until you have a thought that comes. I say you have a thought river that goes in front of your imagination, and all these thoughts every day come floating down the river, and then you're like, I think I'll pick up that thought out of the river. And then you start entertaining the thought. You frame an intention, which means you build a blueprint for it.
Yep.
And that blueprint then translates into some form of an action, which is either words or some other, doing something, creating something.
Yep.
But those three together, they're a trinity: your thoughts, your intents, your actions.
Yep.
Or what we call it with my friends Seneca and Alice, a trifecta.
Yes, come on.
It's three things that are three-stranded cord that is not easily broken. So your thoughts, intents, and actions are a three-stranded cord.
Yes.
And my healing process began when I started realizing the importance of it. In the beginning was God.
That's right.
And what did God do? He hovered, which is a frequency, over the earth. He opened his mouth. He breathed. Every word that, God is a spirit, all right? So he opened his mouth, but he resonated a frequency that created the entire earth.
That's right.
That recreated the entire universe. Mm-hmm. Okay. He had to think it first. He had to frame it. And then he had an action that followed.
Yep.
That's all in the first chapter of Genesis.
Yep.
That's the nutshell version.
Well, and this is the thing. When we're trying to understand this, it's like, okay, sorry. Sorry. Did you hear that?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm having a moment here. I'm trying to figure out because everything is not working. So I want to make sure that everything is working. Okay, let's go back to, there we go. Okay, so we can see, is this working? I think it is. I don't know. I can't say.
No, check.
No. No, we're working. We're fine. But why is this not?
Where's my mic?
No, you're good. You're totally good. But for some reason, let me see if I can figure this out. Let me see if I can. Let me see.
And while she's doing that, I'm just telling everybody, this is the first time you get to see my new studio.
Ooh.
I mean, and I even have a part that is on rollers.
And I
can turn it around. And you can, it's not completely set up yet. There's my beautiful piano.
It's beautiful.
And, I don't want to make people dizzy.
No, you're good.
And then in front of me is where the control room is going to be.
That's going to be beautiful.
Right.
Okay, so when let's go back. Hey Sherry, I see you popping in. Okay, so when we're talking about this, like you said in the beginning in Genesis, we know that it's more than just see. Now this is the big
Sherry
thing.
Marconi.
I know, right?
Where's Bruce?
So this is like the thing that I want to ask, because people have been misunderstanding that they think that frequency is a sound. Dal, is frequency just a sound?
No, everything creates a frequency. Every motion, every movement.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got radio frequencies, you've got EMF frequencies, you've got everything.
Right.
Everything is a frequency. Color is a frequency. It's measured in nanometers.
Yeah,
music
right.
is a frequency that's measured in hertz.
Yes.
And you can actually take a color frequency, bring it down 40 octaves, and it becomes a hertz frequency. So, for example, the color green is the note C. The color red is the note G. And then, I mean, that's just the beginning.
Okay, so let's talk about how people. Why is it? Because that's how we kind of started this thing. How come people get so crazed? I'm going to say that. How come people get so crazed when you start talking about frequency? Why do you think, Dal, that people go literally berserk when that topic is approached?
Religious teaching.
Yes.
If you want my honest opinion.
No, I agree with you.
That it's no different than, I don't know how many people were around in the 70s.
Yeah.
I'm dating myself now. When they started bringing worship music into the church, and it had a drum beat.
Yes.
And churches were going, oh, that's of the devil because you got the drums. And you're thinking, wait a minute, didn't God invent drums?
Yes.
He invented all these gongs that are on my walls.
Yes, come on.
Those are beautiful, bodaciously awesome gongs.
Yeah.
And you see, people don't understand that intention. If you look at quantum physics,
yes,
they're talking about it's the observation that collapses the wave. Observation is an intent.
Okay.
So, and I say in my Frequencies of Creation series, I believe and God is constantly observing the universe. The moment he decides to quit observing the universe, we cease to exist. So we're here because he's constant observation, and he is constantly resonating that frequency into who we are, because we're in him, he's in us.
Sure.
So honestly, it's our teaching. It's what we've been taught.
Yes.
And, even during my age, especially after, the worship music came in, all of a sudden, oh, you can't play classical music and be glorifying God because classical music doesn't glorify God. And I'm like, okay, let's talk about Handel's Messiah.
Let's talk about that.
Bach chorales, all of that stuff.
Right.
I mean, they're nothing but the word of God.
Yes, come on.
And even if you go back to the original plain chant, Gregorian chant, and you look at the words, that was all God stuff. And that's how classical music as we know it today began in the 1400s.
Okay. So what? All right. So this is the thing. People for many years have always misinterpreted, have always come to a place where they're like, "Oh, this can't be God," and then we find out later on in history, "Oh no, it really is God." Like it really is God. And that is exactly why I wanted to kind of talk to you, and I wanted to talk about your story and about your healing and also about your revelation that God has given you for for frequencies, and how the frequencies of heaven can unlock the healing here on earth. What do you think?
Okay.
Are we good with that?
We're good. Whatever you want to talk about.
Because
I'm game.
Listen, I know that I hate to say that you're a button pusher, but you know, it's like, hey, let's just push some buttons and let's start to teach people the truth, because so many people have been disillusioned by what people who don't quite understand kingdom principles, and what they do is because they're afraid of it. Why is everybody so afraid of the devil? That's what I want to know. Because seriously, like, we have the authority, like, right? Because that's what it all is. They're like, oh, this is the devil, you know?
Here's the key word. The devil comes as
a
roaring lion.
That's
he only becomes a roaring lion if we give him our authority.
Come on. There you go.
So, do you remember who Smith Wigglesworth is?
Sure.
Okay, there was a situation where, you know, he wakes up in the middle of the night one night, and he's laying there in bed just chillaxing like you do when you sleep.
Yeah.
And he looks up and hears a noise, and he looks up, sees the devil. Oh, it's just you, and goes back to sleep.
That's right.
You know, and to me, he is only what you make him.
Come on, there you go.
And sometimes we're our own worst enemy.
Yes.
Which is what caused me to get so sick, because I started believing lies. Once you start believing something that's contrary to what God says about you, or about your position in Christ, you know, and that's where the abuse comes in, because it was during the marriage that I got really sick.
Okay.
And, you know, there's several reasons for that. And some of it, people had to point out to me, he was doing blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Later on, I figured out, maybe they're right. Because when you are in a situation where you have started believing lies that someone or something, or that you just have thought yourself or told yourself,
right,
that is, you know, if it doesn't line up with God's love, if it doesn't line up with joy, if it doesn't line up with peace, then you're toast. Anything that stops you from moving forward is fear-based.
Yes.
Anytime that you feel fearful about anything, you have just given your power over to the enemy.
Yes. 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 And that's
I did. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, wore it, and I got to live it out.
Hey, listen, I got a t-shirt once. I've been there, got the t-shirt and burned it. So I'm just telling you, I get it. Some t-shirts you don't want to keep, right? So yeah, you just get rid of them. So when there is a truth, because a lot of different countries actually heal with frequency. They have eradicated cancer cells through frequency. We know that there are, listen, I'm going to make things very simple. You know, when we get babies and we go into a nursery, and what do? We go get those little ting, 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 those little sounds, those little things that make the baby go to sleep. Or how about people who have a hard time sleeping and they want to hear the ocean, or they want to hear soothing, you know, sounds, because we've started to understand that there is something about sounds and movement that actually could be very soothing, very settling, and very healing. So what the Lord really kind of talked to me about frequency, and that's why I was really excited to have you on, is because when he started talking about frequency, I thought, oh my gosh, hell, like, because you talked about a bunch of this stuff, but he said to me that the important thing is to keep our frequency up into the God frequency, because there is
that is anything that love, joy, peace, kindness, all of the things of the spirit are the higher frequencies.
Yes.
Fear, doubt, anger, anxiety, depression, all of those are in the bottom. Those are the things that pull you down.
That's right.
And because I lived in that, you know, I started listening to what was being told to me that was of the negative thing. That's what's going on in the world right now, and has been I mean, honestly, I think COVID came out of that. Oh, be afraid of COVID. I'm like, excuse me. I mean, I remember when I was at school, if you were giving a lesson and when your students ever got tested with COVID, you had to quarantine yourself for 2 weeks. And I told all my students, don't you ever tell anybody that you had a lesson with me if you end up testing for COVID, because I don't want the university to send me home for 2 weeks.
Yes.
And you have to take your lesson online. I said, I do not subscribe to COVID. COVID is not a part of me, and I refuse to accept it. And I never got it. Even though every other week, one of my students was testing positive for COVID. And I didn't allow fear to take over.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about that just a little bit, because when I think about everything that happened, there's something that is attached to sickness, and that is FEAR.
Yes, this is a true story.
Okay, so anytime now, I am not here to say that people who get sick or have some kind of a serious disease that they shouldn't, this is a scary situation. Trust me, I get that. However, it's like, what are you choosing to feed? Because the more, like, this is the thing that the Lord was talking to me, because what you said, Dal, exactly. He said, Lisa, he said, when you meditate on things that are good and pure and lovely and true and joyful and peaceful and all of those wonderful things, and you're up in the God frequency, it says that like anything from the enemy can't get in. They can't breathe in that air. They can't breathe in that altitude. So what they do is you know how it says that they shoot the fiery arrows? And so what they do is they shoot some doubt. They shoot some discouragement. And so what it does is they're trying to pop your balloon where you're up in the stratosphere with joy. You're holding onto your joy, and they're trying to pop that balloon, because when you start to sink just a little bit, it's like as soon as you get to a certain altitude, they can kind of start coming in. And so they keep shooting to pull you down, pull you down, pull you down, pull you down.
Yeah, and I call those familiar spirits that sit on your shoulder and whisper these stupid things in your ear. Yes. You slime bucket, you.
Yes.
And then, or you're not good enough. Or someone says, you should do this. Oh, I'm not good enough. I doubt myself. I can't quite do it. And that's when you just have to go.
Yes. And when we kind of start to say, okay, what can change things? People are like, well, I felt really bad, but then I went to church and I was worshiping and then I felt so great. I forgot about my problems. And so when we're in worship, which is a sound, but it's also a frequency.
Yes, it is.
It's
and your attitude during worship is a frequency. This is the one of the things, as I've been on worship teams, you'd go in there and the pastor or the worship leader, we have to bring the people into the presence of God. I'm like, wait a minute. Isn't the presence of God as close as the air you breathe?
Yes, come on.
You are already in the presence of God.
Yes.
All you have to do is recognize it and partner with it. It is not my job or someone else's job as a person on the worship team to bring you into the presence of God. That is your responsibility.
That's right. That's right. And so we have had these I want to say it's misunderstandings. We've had a lot of misunderstandings as followers of Christ of things to do. I'm trying to be very nice. Things that we do and things that we shouldn't do. And so when we're thinking about all of these things, it's like, okay, it's like, here you go. Because God always he like shows me songs. Okay. So I'm seeing Willy Wonka. When Willy Wonka thought, well, I didn't get this golden ticket, when his mom is trying to, and she's not even with him. She's literally praying, because she's like, cheer up, Charlie, and she's singing this song, because she feels so bad that her son is really in the dumps, and he's not even there. He's not even there. She's singing the song and she's washing clothes or whatever, but she's singing this song, and it's almost like she's praying a prayer, and she's trying to bring hope back into a very hopeless situation. And we sometimes disregard the things that we say, we pray, we sing, we disregard those as atmosphere changers that can come in and totally change a huge situation from bad to better.
Well, and then you're going to be in those situations that, excuse the expression, really suck.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You have a choice.
Yes.
On how to respond.
Yes.
In those situations.
Yes.
And it wasn't until I realized that I'm like, oh, pull your head out, Hungerford.
Yes.
You know, that you don't have to respond that way. You know, I have a few sayings which might not be appropriate for here, but
you're fine.
Think about when you pull your head out, you know.
Pull your head out.
Always joke in college, we need to give some people a glassectomy. It's in case they have their head up, that they, you know, they put a piece of glass like right here.
Right.
So in case you have your head where it shouldn't be, then you can still see. And sometimes you just have to learn to pull your head out so that you can see clearly. I can see clearly
now. Yep, the rain is gone. Yes.
And that is not coming into agreement with what's going on in the world right now, for example, is one, or in the situation. You know, I believe that we've moved into the age of Aquarius, which has to, if you're looking at all the stuff, and I talk about that in the book Kingdom Shift, you know, we as sons of God, we can raise the frequency of what's going on around us simply by stepping into joy, love, peace, living in that situation, living in those frequencies rather than resonating with all the fear and anxiety and all going on around us.
Right.
And there's nothing like losing your house to eminent domain that forces you to learn how to work through something. I mean, that's just one example.
Right. Okay, so all right, so let's talk about let's talk about Job. Because Job says, right? So Job said, the thing that I feared most has come upon me. The thing that I feared most, because fear has a frequency. And it's just like, I'm going to say this. You remember that book? It was called The Secret. Remember that book, Del?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What? There's a video out on it called
Yeah. So, do you know what The Secret was? All right, I'll say it. The secret is it's all biblically based. It's biblical truths. They just don't say it's biblical, but it's biblical because it says when you speak, when we start to release, this is blessings and cursings, which you said, blessings and cursings are in the power of our tongue. And so as a man thinketh, so is he. We have so many different scriptures that talk about the power of what we say and what we attract. It's a law of attraction, but they're trying to take Jesus and God out of it. But it still is a principle that even to this day, let me just tell you, like when we think about like how different non-believers, witches, warlocks, whatever, how they get all they're doing they read the Bible. They know the Bible probably better than a lot of Christians. I'm just going to say, because there are principles that still work. There are principles that God doesn't say, I'm not giving you that ability to create, because we were created in his image, both man and woman. We were created in his image. So we have the power to start changing things just by what we say. So when Jesus spoke to the fig tree and he said, you know, no fruit, you die. And that was it. And the disciples marveled. But then when we look over in Job, it said that he had a fear thing going on. And what it was doing, it was allowing access for things to start to shift and to change in his life, because there was a frequency. And I believe that the enemy picks up on it. I think he's kind of like a dog. He can smell it away.
I look at the whole enemy thing and I'm like, I don't even want to give him credit, because sometimes it's our own fear, because we are our own worst enemy.
Well, that's the thing.
Let me go back to something that you said earlier.
Sure.
You talked about laws. There's a natural law, gravity. There's so many natural laws that dictate how the universe functions.
Right.
The laws of frequency, the law of gravity,
right.
All of these natural laws,
right.
all of this stuff fits within that, the godly thing.
Yes.
So, for example, if you are resonating in the frequency of love,
Yes.
nothing negative can stay in that place.
Right.
It has no choice. And I call it, and I say this in a couple of my books, you override, RIDE, and then you overwrite. And to
That's
answer
it.
that question, is there a difference between sound and frequency? They're the same thing. Some people call it sound, some people call it frequency. Some sounds are hearable with your audible ear, because we can only hear from 20 hertz to, I can't remember how, 20,000 hertz. So, because you got megahertz, you got gigahertz, you got all these different, those are all sound frequencies. Your body can feel it. Sometimes your body will feel it and your ears won't. Like, they were down here replacing the sewer line for the last month, and I'm in my house, and all of a sudden I feel the whole house shaking. I couldn't hear a thing, but that was a frequency.
That's
that
right.
was a low hearing level. In fact, if you take and you lower the octave of something enough, a drum beat is actually a hertz. It's just slowed down in such a low octave that it sounds like a drum beat,
Right.
rather than an actual musical frequency to your
Right.
ear.
It's interesting because, like, Steve Swanson did this whole teaching one time, and he said that God was talking to him about creation, and I think he took the sample, or the sampling of the sound of, I think it was like an owl. We'll say it was an owl, and the Lord said, "Okay, drop it an octave." And so he dropped it an octave, and it sounded like a different animal. And then he said, drop it an octave, and like there was a whale. It sounded like a frog. It sounded, bring it up an octave. It sounded like a cricket. It sounded like all of these different sounds. And so, but what God said to him, he said, they're all singing the same song. They're just singing it in different octaves.
Right.
All of creation.
Okay, now, just to show you something fun so that you can see frequency and shape.
Sure.
I don't know if you've ever heard of the CymaScope.
Oh, what is that?
It's an app, CymaScope, CYMASCOPE. So if I play a note, let me play this C. I don't know if you can hear it.
Yep.
So see what the shape is creating?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Now let me go down. I need to go down to let's do middle C.
Oh, wow.
Now see how it's moving in and out? Because you're dealing with the different harmonics of that particular note. Okay. You're hearing it as la.
Right.
The way the piano sounds and the way my voice sounds are different because of the different harmonics.
Right.
Let's go down an octave. Now notice that when you're going down an octave, the shapes, they're not as intricate.
Yes.
So let's go down another octave.
Oh, wow.
Okay, now we're going to go down to the lowest octave on the piano. Up this one.
Oh, wow.
See all those changing shapes?
Yeah.
To do with the harmonics that are in that particular sound.
Wow.
And a piano is going to have different harmonics than
right.
I mean, that's how you can tell the difference between a piano and a flute and a violin and a clarinet.
Yeah.
My voice, your voice, because the strength of the harmonics within each of those is going to be slightly different. We each have an individual voice print that is unique to ours, just like DNA.
Yes.
Because the harmonics in my voice are obviously not the same as in yours. Now, for those who don't know, I mean, if you read the thing, I was a professional clarinetist. Mm-hmm. I can tell the difference between a German clarinetist, a French clarinetist, different countries, because they use different setups. French clarinet players are much more bright tone. Mm-hmm. German clarinet players, they have a much darker sound, but they use a different mouthpiece setup and reeds. And you could really hear that. As soon as I hear an orchestra, I'm like, well, I know that that's a German orchestra or a French orchestra because of the way the clarinet players sound.
Right.
So it's no different with any other voice. And so that shows cymatics is where you're putting that specific frequency into water. And then it's making all of those shapes. So that's just a technical explanation. And to answer that question, is there a difference between sound and frequency? We interchange those, but frequency is a sound and sound is a frequency.
Right.
It's the question is it above the hearing range or below the hearing range? The things that are above and below, your body is going to feel.
Right. Okay. So let's, because I have also been, like, I know that you're saying frequency is a sound, but I also think that frequency is sometimes more than a sound, because there's, like you were showing just with that piano keyboard. Yeah, there was a sound, but there was also a movement. There was a movement that was happening. So frequency is sound, but it's also motion. And I think that's the difference, because if you were to say, God is releasing the sounds of heaven versus God is releasing the frequencies of heaven, it would be two completely different. There would be.
I don't know about that.
No, it'd be the same.
Yes, because if he's releasing the frequencies of heaven, it could come through sound. It could come through in, what's the word? A thought. It could come through intention. It could come through words. It could come through emotion. Those are all sounds.
Right.
You're just going to measure them in different megahertz, gigahertz.
So is frequency then something in which you measure? Is that kind of the so it's so basically when we're talking about frequency, we are talking, this is the measuring stick to what's happening with
what type of frequency. Is it a sound frequency?
Okay.
Well, no. Is it a hertz frequency? Is it a megahertz frequency? Is it a gigahertz frequency?
Okay.
Can you hear it with your ears? Can you feel it with your body? But remember, God hovered over the earth. That was a movement.
Yes.
It started out as emotion.
Yes.
Okay. But see, even when you're blowing air, you're breathing, you're creating movement.
Yes, exactly.
Air.
Yes.
So there's a motion.
Yes.
But then you put your intention into that.
Yes.
And then that creates the third strand of the chord.
Okay.
Which is the actual thing that's created.
Okay.
Whatever, you are creating with your thoughts and your intents. And then somewhere in that, whichever frequency that you've paired with comes out in the creation that you're putting out, whether that's a word, whether it's a piece of art, whether, those are just two examples that we
right. Well, because I sometimes think about people, people will sometimes talk about auras. Oh, your aura is like this color and everything. But that is a frequency at which you are vibrating, or a frequency that your body is releasing some sort of sound that is becoming color, correct?
Right. And I say this in one of my articles. I think it's my Frequencies of Sound Creation series.
Okay.
Have you ever stood in a grocery store line?
Uh-huh.
The person that's just right in front of you.
Okay.
There's something about that person, you're just going, they're giving me the heebie-jeebies.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That you are sensing their aura.
Yeah.
Or you're really, in technical terms, you're sensing their energy field.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I remember Ian Clayton talking about, he would walk into a store. He goes, I'm going to expand my spirit man. Which your aura lives in your, it's supposed to live in your spirit, but when we function out of our soul and not our spirit, then that's what we're projecting. Because we're spirit beings, but sometimes we forget that and function out of our soul.
Right.
So you're projecting and expanding what's on the inside of you.
Right.
Okay, is that going to be joy, peace, frustration? You don't know whether, that person in front of the line might just be having a really bad day.
Right.
But if they give you the general heebie-jeebies, there's something else going on. But you can sense whether they're sad, they're happy.
Right.
I will purposely walk in. Every time I walk into a store, I always smile and I look people in the eye.
Right.
And sometimes I get a smile back, and sometimes they just stare at me with this deer in the headlights look. And you almost always know where they are. And I'm like, I might be the only love this person sees or sees today.
Come on, that's so good.
So I just literally see myself resonating love to whoever I see, because that might be the only joy or whatever that they sense that whole day. And if I can be the one who delivers it, so be it.
That's awesome. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit, because I wanted to really kind of talk about the frequency, because I kind of feel like the way that you explain it and how you have been able, how the Lord is really has partnered with you to release these different sounds, these frequencies and stuff. But it came from a place because you were dealing with, so you didn't like grow up knowing about this stuff, did you?
Well, I knew some things because I was a music major in college. Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have to learn it. I believe you can explain the entire creation of the universe through music theory.
Yes.
That's good. No whole nother ball of wax. But in reality, where it started, and this is where I get to drag Seneca into this.
Okay.
When I became part of a group that we were all in together, she said, well, if it's got, we were talking about the musical frequencies, well, the Hebrew letters. They're talking about the Hebrew letters. They say they're living letters. Well, if they're living letters, they must have a frequency. I'm like, challenge accepted.
Yes.
It took me 4 years. Yes, rooms have energy and frequency.
Yes.
They can measure it. You have to, they're standing resonances. They're called standing resonances. And they still exist in the giant pyramid, by the way, or the Great Pyramid. Anyway, and it's an F sharp, but that's another thing. So anyway, I started taking that and I did the research on it.
Right.
And the musical frequencies of the Hebrew letters, they line up with the musical harmonic series. They line up with the natural laws of music. The harmonic series is the natural laws of music, which Pythagoras is, he supposedly discovered, but not really. I mean, he's the one who actually wrote it down and recognized what it was, that, you take a string, cut it in half, you get an octave higher.
Mm-hmm.
You double the length, you get an octave lower. All of that, those are natural laws.
Mm-hmm.
So you start realizing that everything within the universe fits within all these natural laws.
Right.
Then you start realizing that's all part of God's laws.
Okay.
And so I don't know if that fills in some of the blank.
Well, you wrote a book, Healing in the Hebrew, right? In Hebrew.
Yeah, Healing in the Hebrew Months is the one that I did with the musical frequencies of the Hebrew letters.
Right.
And I've written, the interesting thing is the name of God, Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey, is a minor third.
Okay.
Musically, if you are an elementary music teacher and you studied the Kodaly method, which is the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, the solfege. Okay. The very first interval that they teach children is the minor third. Na, 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 dan, 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 dan. That is the minor third. It's the easiest interval to sing, and it's been around forever. That's what the pentatonic scale is based on. Well, what would you know that the name of God, Yod, Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey, is going to be based on that minor third.
Interesting. But see, you don't always hear people sing. Like sometimes you'll hear cantors if you go to a Jewish synagogue, but it's not like you're hearing your pastor in church or your priest, sometimes the priest, but you don't really hear them even saying Yad Hey Vav Hey.
No, because the Jewish people will not say the name Yahweh because it's too sacred, so they just call him Yah, or they call him Hashem. So they would never utter it because they considered it too holy of a name to utter. But, when I started going through this whole process, I started realizing, if you go and you look at the standing resonances that are in the Great Pyramid, you know what the interval that's played of the standing resonances? It's a minor third.
Oh, really?
It's an F sharp to an A. Now, if you go back to the beginning, the frequencies of creation, because they can measure the sound waves in the universe right now. And I was watching a video, the 2014 World Science Festival, where this cosmologist named Mark Whipple, was, he goes, well, this is the sound and we can see it. And he played it on a flute and brought it down like 40 octaves or up 40 octaves so we could hear it. He didn't say what the note was, but I pulled out my handy dandy tuner. And I'm like, oh, that's an F sharp. And then he said something really interesting. He goes, it didn't follow the normal harmonic series. The first interval that came out of that was, guess what it was? The minor third.
Minor third. Yeah.
It goes from the F sharp to an A. Now, if you add the name of Yeshua in there,
right,
then you have the major and the minor third.
Okay.
And he said, oh, and then the interesting thing, it goes from a minor third and then morphs into the major third.
Okay.
Those are the very first sounds out of creation.
Wow.
The voice of God is in creation.
That's crazy, Del. That's okay. So Yod He Vav He is in creation.
Yes.
And Yeshua is in creation.
Yes. Because remember, the word says, John 1:1. I mean, John 1.
It was the Word, and the Word was with
Word
God.
Was
and the Word
with God.
was God. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Wow.
So those scriptures we have now, I mean, the cosmologists don't really care about the music part, but, I do.
Right.
That's where the geeky music theory part of me comes out.
Yeah, but we love the geeky music part of you because now we're getting geeked out because we're getting to hear something that you don't hear like a lot of places. I've never heard that. And then the thing is, music is so important. And when you think about music and the chief musician and then you start to think about how important sound is to God. Like right. we have, I think that sometimes, especially since our music has been changed, the key has been.
No, actually, that is not true.
That is not true. Oh, that come on, tell me.
Okay, now the whole ancient solfegial frequencies, that's a.
Okay.
Because, I mean, and that was the other thing. People gave me those, and I'm like, okay, well, 528 hertz, 397 hertz, or 396, all of those. I went and looked them up, and I'm like, wait, we got a G to a G sharp, sort of. Then it goes to a C. Then it goes to, I'm like, and I played it on the piano, and it just sounded awful.
Yeah.
And, they were saying, well, this is a scale. I'm like, well, it's not any scale that I've ever heard about.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't fit with the natural laws of music.
Right.
And, it all came from Joseph Puleo and this other guy named, I can't remember his name. Horowitz was his the last. And, when you're not a musician
mm-hmm.
and you don't understand musical harmonics and the laws of music.
Okay.
I mean, okay, did God create everything or not?
Everything.
Okay, then he created every frequency.
Yes.
Okay, it matters more what you do with that frequency.
Right.
I have a cell phone here, okay?
Right.
My cell phone, if I were to throw this cell phone at my computer, what would happen?
It would break.
It would break. Now, that's not what the cell phone was created for. It wasn't created to be thrown.
Right.
It was created to be used to hear, just
that's
like
right.
a knife. You can use a knife to cut a steak, or you can use a knife to hurt somebody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's what's intention.
Right.
See, there's a lot of people that say the 528 hertz frequency is very healing. Fine, I'll partner with that.
Yeah.
So my intention is that, that is a great frequency.
Right.
I've even used 396 and some of the others and partnered along with that. But the whole thing behind them, none of that is true. Hitler had nothing to do with it. Nothing. And I can prove it.
Okay.
I mean, number one, and I have several.
And I think this is the thing. Like, I love that we're having this conversation, which I wasn't thinking we were going to have, but I think it's really good. No, it's true. I think that it's really good we're having this conversation because we are in the Lord calls this time the great reveal. That's what he told me this time is. This is the great reveal. And so the truths are being revealed. And the untruths are being revealed. So the lies are being revealed and the truths are being revealed. And if we've been believing a bunch of cockamamie propaganda so that we don't we don't want to, so we can push blame onto somebody, but you're saying that is a bunch of bunk.
Well, I wouldn't call it propaganda. It's someone who is trying to explain something that they don't have a full understanding.
Yes.
If you do not understand music theory,
yes,
you're going to miss it.
Yes.
And then you're just going to listen to what the next person says about it.
Yes.
So the whole thing is, does it line up with natural laws?
Okay.
If it doesn't, okay. But the other thing, A440 is harmful. I'm like, okay, what's wrong with me? I've been playing an A440 my whole life.
Right.
I'm fine. I'm healthier than I've been in 30 years. I haven't been sick in over 10 years. But I also said I give up being sick for Lent. And I've never taken it back.
There you go. There you go. Did you go get your ashes that day too?
No, I don't need my ashes.
I'm teasing. Okay, so we I believe have been bamboozled in certain areas of things that have said this isn't good, this isn't bad, you need this frequency, you need that, don't listen to this, don't listen to that,
fear,
blah blah blah.
Fear.
Yes.
There's your fear word.
That's it.
See, if they say, okay, A440 is harmful. If someone tells you that, then what's the first thing that's going to go through your mind? Oh my God, I got to do something.
I'm never listening to A440, right?
How do you know?
Yeah. No, you don't.
My intention is, no matter what frequency I use, that it's going to be helpful.
Yes.
That because my intention outweighs what the actual frequency is.
Yes.
Because it starts with a thought.
That's right.
It goes into the framing the intention. You build the blueprint.
Right.
Then you act it out. And in my case, it's creating the music.
Well, let's talk about that for one more second, because people have taken water, just water droplets, and they have put different types of music to it, and we can see how sometimes the water gets distorted. Okay, so
what's in the lyrics?
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm just gonna say, 99% of the worship music there is not that good. Because I am a sinner, I've done this, I've done that. What are the 24 elders around the throne doing 24/7? What are they doing?
They're throwing their crosses,
bowing down, and they're worshiping God, and they're declaring the goodness of God.
That's it.
We just imagine what would happen if we did that.
Yes.
Then there would be no more sickness.
That's right.
There would be no more disease.
That's right. Because you're now living in a frequency, you're living in a place, a state up that you're not even thinking about fear. You're in a place of true worship, not self-worship, true worship. You're actually worshiping the King. Nothing else matters. It's like even like with what the Lord's been talking to me is about burning. It's like when you burn with Jesus, you don't care about anything else but burning. You just want to burn. You don't feel the burn, but you want to burn. You're like, nothing else matters. And that's where I think it is, because fear can enter into that atmosphere because you've now put a barrier and saying, no, my focus is here. It doesn't matter what else comes in.
Right.
My focus is there.
And I practiced that.
Right.
I think the biggest thing is, because I read your blurb, the joy of the Lord is the best frequency. I actually will say love is even the love of the Lord is the highest. It's actually, I wouldn't say the highest, it's the strongest.
Well, it doesn't go away. Love never fails, never gives up, but love will always exist.
Right.
Everything else, like that's it. And everything else comes out of love. Joy comes out of love.
It's sitting there. It's a matter of just recognizing it, turning your eyes away from all the stuff that's saying, right. And you're just like, oh, I think I'm going to resonate with love. I'm going to resonate with, and sometimes I have to sit there and focus on getting into that position, especially when something, kind of stressful has just happened. And sometimes I do better than others.
Sure.
But it was in that whole journey of stepping through that I got a chance to practice. You're going to flunk a test. That's okay. Get your body up off the ground and keep moving.
That's it.
Take the test again.
That's so good.
Oh, you might do better. You might still flunk it, but you flunked it not with as bad of a score as you did the last time.
Right.
But the best thing is we get do-overs.
Many do-overs.
Oh, yeah.
We don't ever get, like, God never said, well, I've given you 5 times, so I think we're done. No. He's like, how many times do you need? How many times do you need to get it right? I have a lot of patience. I have eternity to wait. Let's go.
Yeah.
Right?
We're the ones who get impatient. It's really interesting because my patience has been tested the last 3 months, especially because, I've been here 3 months. When the Lord, when I retired from teaching at Whitworth University, Whitworth University, which is in Spokane.
Right.
And you don't say Spokane because David Letterman says you'll get hit with a pine tree if you say Spokane. Anyway, the Lord said, okay, you ended up here because you told me you needed to be close to Whitworth.
Okay.
And so I lived in a town of 190 people.
Okay.
And I thought that was my forever home. He goes, okay, you can leave now.
Oh.
2 years of my house being on the market. He goes, you get to choose your next house.
Oh, wow.
Yay.
Yes.
And then, so the house was on the market for 2 years. But during that time, I had to learn some patience. And then in September of this 2025, I was in Moscow because I live in Lewiston, Idaho now, which Moscow is 30 minutes north of me. I was in Moscow for a family funeral and my house sells. So my agent calls me and the next day we come down here and look, and I chose the house I'm in now. And I go back to all those things that God said to me. And he said that to me a year and a half before I actually moved.
Right.
So I had to walk out that time knowing that the right time was going to happen. And I was going to buy a building in Pinehurst, Idaho, which is near Coeur Lane. And that fell through. And I'm like, okay, Father, what am I going to do? The very next day, I get a call from the recording engineer that I worked with when I was teaching at Washington State University, the guy who recorded my first 11 albums. He goes, do you want to come to Moscow? We'll go up to the University of Idaho. We have a recording workshop we're going to do. Will you bring all your recording equipment, which is the Big Daddy microphone that's right there?
Yeah, I see it.
My big ribbon mic, because he loves that ribbon mic. And then I get off the phone with him and the Lord says, you need to ask him if he'll go into business with you.
Okay.
And open a recording studio. I'm like, I don't know anything about recording.
But he does.
But he does. So up until a half hour before this meeting, we were here testing out. That's the first time we've had that thing out in a long time. Well, since at the recording workshop in May. And, you start looking at how all of these bits and pieces come together.
Sure.
But all that whole time I had to practice patience.
Yes.
I had to practice sitting in joy. I had to practice sitting in love.
Yes.
Because, he tells me you're moving. I'm like, okay, let's do it now. Let's go.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always work that way.
Right.
Sometimes he has to work on stuff inside of us. And it was a good experience for me. I learned a few things. I did some dumb things, and I don't have a problem telling people that.
Yeah.
I learned from my mistakes, and I will share my mistakes with people so that they don't make the same mistakes that I did. Right. But if they choose to, then they get to.
Well, and that's kind of how else can we learn? If we don't make mistakes, that's how we learn. You know, it's like when you burn your pasta for the first time because you don't have enough water, you learn, I better put enough water in my pasta or else I'm going to burn it. It's like, oh, I'm just going to add a cup of water. Yeah, no, it's not going to work. Now, things you learn. You only do it once, hopefully, you don't do it 2 or 3 times, so, and I think that's the grace that we have. That's the grace that I think about so many times that I've done such silly things and I can literally hear the Lord laugh. I can literally hear him laugh at me not because he thinks I'm a mistake but he's like, look how cute she is. She's so funny. It's like when I laugh at my kids when they would do something like, really, that's what you're doing?
Well, here I like to say he's laughing with
you, not at you. That's right.
I was moving, I had a friend who came down and she hung out with me days, and we moved everything out of the garage so we could repack things because the movers were kind of interesting. We'll just leave it there. The moving company was not super professional, and watching them move my piano, I'm just like, I've never seen anybody move a piano that way. You don't move it like that. You have to put it on a piano board. You have to wrap it up. You have to do it. Anyway, so I'm out in the driveway. We lost her.
I'm here.
You're here. Anyway, we're out in the driveway, and I turn around with this box in my hand, and I trip and I fall on the ground, and I just started laughing. You know, it's kind of like, you know, when I was building the retreat center at my house in Old Town, Idaho, which is, you know, a straight shot to Whitworth, which is for the time. You know, I fell out of the back of my truck and twisted my ankle and pulled a bunch of tendons and did a bunch of dumb things that I shouldn't have done. And I literally fall on the ground. What is the first thing that generally comes to our mind? What is the first thing that most people do when they hurt themselves?
Oh, they complain and they make themselves, you know, they become angry at themselves, right?
Or they start cussing.
Yeah.
And I landed on the ground, and I'm like, okay, they have a choice.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything.
Right.
And I immediately at that point saw myself soaking in the river of life.
Oh, that's so good.
And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, I just released love through the ankle, and it was hurting like and then my friend who was waiting inside the garage with a wheelbarrow, you know, he's like, why hasn't she brought me a new load of gravel? He walks out and he's looking over me and he goes, what you doing down there? And I'm like, soaking in the river of life. Those are the first words that I said. And then I crawled into the house over the gravel.
Right.
But at the same point, you can be in a lot of pain.
Yes.
But it's what you do, what you say, what you frame.
Yes.
In how the situation works out.
Yes.
Yeah, it hurt for a long time after that.
Right.
But I had to be really careful with choosing how I was going to respond in the pain.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. You know what? You're going to get a boom. Hold on.
What's a boom?
We'll see.
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
I'm glad that you liked it.
I love everything that's funny. You know.
I know. Well, I think that what you said, though, you know, it's like when we're dealing with difficult situations, how do we choose to respond? How do we choose to deal with them? Are we going to laugh about it? Are we going to cry about it? Are we going to become angry and frustrated? What is it going to be? Because I really believe that what God is really trying to, what he's been really talking to me, Jesus has really, really been talking to me, is about, like, don't ever let anything move your frequency, your level from where you are with me. Don't let anything affect it, because those are the things, it's like the Song of Songs. It's like, those are the little foxes. Those are the little foxes that come in, Dal, and say, we're going to spoil your little garden because we're going to bring you down. We're going to bring you down.
You know, I mean, and then God corrects us at times. I feel like Job at one time, you know, after we found out that we were going to lose our houses, you know, I was living in Moscow because I'm from Moscow. And there's no cow in Moscow. It is pronounced Moscow.
Okay.
And I was living south of town, and that's when we found out that they were going to reroute part of Highway 95 over our houses. And I was, okay, whatever. And then it was 7 years. And then there was one day I was doing some whining, you know, and that's where I feel like, well, would you like some cheese with that wine? And I'm before the Father, and he goes, so you think this whole highway project is about you?
Oh.
And I'm like, oops.
Yeah, I know, right?
And then he started showing me some things. But see, then you have to do some things in the natural. They have this thing that's called an environmental impact statement.
Okay.
And the thing was like 1,000 pages long.
Okay.
So I read through the whole thing, and the Lord began speaking to me. This highway is supposed to go here.
Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to give up your home because this is my will? I said, yes, I am, Father.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I ended up, he started showing me things, and that's when I started meeting the territorial angels, and they taught me about the courts of heaven, and they taught me about some of these other things, and worked through a bunch of stuff in that process.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, the state didn't know what to do with me. And neither did the environmental group that was fighting it. Because most of the environmental group that's up there, they're all professors. Some other things, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. You guys are telling me that Paradise Ridge is pristine prairie habitat? No, it wasn't. It used to be farmed. I can prove it because the family that used to farm it, before they built trees on the top of it, which my grandfather was part of that.
Okay.
And so I would point out the obvious things. If you haven't lived in Moscow long enough, you wouldn't know. And they would, they banned me from their Facebook page and everything. And I would point out the truth. And, when you get banned for saying the truth.
I've been banned a lot, actually, for saying the truth. So
but, I would show up to the protests that they would have sitting out on Highway 95. And I would stand across the street holding a sign in support of the state. They all hated me, but I would just smile at them. And then, they had a big hearing where we could all go and talk about it. And we all wore the T-shirts that said, if you mess with me, you mess with the whole neighborhood. Our whole neighborhood came and we all wore those T-shirts. And I got up and spoke for the whole neighborhood. And I just released joy. And I was like, we had fun. We blow off fireworks here. And I said, by the way, if you find the skeleton that we shot off the back of the bottle rocket 2 years ago, let us know. We'd like to have it back. Everybody started laughing. And then when I got done, everybody applauded. No one had applauded until that, but it required releasing a frequency of joy.
That's right.
Which I knew that's what I was doing. Yes. And that changed the mood of the entire public comment. And that was one of the first things I did that I started realizing, wait a minute, this is how you change.
This is how you change things.
It's how you change it. You can't do it with fear.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like when it says that he who is in heaven sits and laughs. It's like sometimes when I'm praying for people, all of a sudden I burst out laughing. And these are serious things. And I look at them, I'm like, I'm so sorry that I'm laughing, but I'm just telling you that means God's in it. So yay. And they're like, what do you, they're crying. Oh, I got this. I'm like, no, I'm laughing. And they're looking at me like, you're nuts. And I'm like, nope. God's in it. I'm laughing because God's in it. He's here. He's laughing with us. And the Lord told me, he said, do you know what happens when you laugh? He goes, you're telling whatever it is, it's done. It's over.
Well, and what does the Bible say about laughter? It is the best medicine.
It is the
so remember, go back to me laying on the ground.
Yes.
Going out of my truck, got my foot twisted around the stinger, which is, I call it a stinger, but it's a hitch. So I like it. I'm a regular in Facebook jail.
Oh, yeah, Linda. Yeah.
I don't do that because the problem is I have too many people on my Facebook page that are former professor friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I keep it tame. I put cat pictures on Facebook.
Yeah.
But it's even when we're in pain or when something sucks, and I'm sorry, life is going to suck.
That's okay.
It's not going to be perfect all the time.
Yes.
Even in the lowest times, we can find something to be grateful for.
That's right. Well, that's what David did, right? Didn't David do that? David said that before he went to the Lord, before he sought the Lord, he said that he strengthened himself. People think he's doing jumping jacks. No, he was getting rid of doubt. He was getting rid of fear. He was getting rid of anxiety. He was saying, he did this, God did this. He did all of these things, and he strengthened himself with the truth that God was good. And so when he had enough, that there was no fear, that there was no doubt, that there wasn't any kind of nothing that would make him question what God was going to do, that's when he sought him. So in some ways, what I see is like, he just turned his frequency up, didn't he?
He sure did.
He turned his frequency
up.
I
mean, the question is, people ask me all the time, well, how do you do it practically?
Yeah.
Well, that's where you do what the Bible says, take every thought
captive.
Yes. And renewing the mind.
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, how do you renew the mind? You take every thought captive.
Mm-hmm.
So when all those negative familiar spirits are sitting on your shoulders, whispering these sweet nothings in your ear, you go, excuse me, sir, you have no place here.
That's it. Bye. Yeah. Bye.
Well, you breathe love on them or breathe something on them or release something into them.
Yeah.
Because that overrides. And then eventually, the more you do it, it overwrites. WRITE.
I love that.
So you override RIDE before you overwrite.
Yeah.
WRIGHT.
That's so good.
Right. WRITE. Sorry.
Yes. Okay. So let me just, because I know that, a lot of people, we're hearing it. You're a music major, you're a teacher, you're a professor, in a university, you get the music, you get the understanding, but how does somebody use these practical applications of biblical truths, and how do they kind of, like, is it just changing what we're listening to? Because not all the Christian music that's out there, that's not good. So I'm just saying, because when you start out as a believer, you then come from being a believer to becoming a follower. And it's a process, because even demons believe. So we come from being a believer in Jesus Christ to becoming a follower of Jesus Christ. And in that transition, then you become a son or a daughter. That's right. So when we are making these transitions, it's not saying that it's bad. It's just saying that there's better. And so when we start to understand that there's better out there, it's for people who don't want to stay in the status quo. Because I really believe we're in a place that the status quo has to go. I really do.
So this is because people ask me a question similar to this all the time. I get emails, well, what music should I choose, or what healing music should I choose? And I'm like, you have to listen, because you have to find out what your being wants today. It's no different than you listen to a certain song. You might listen to a popular song on the radio, and then you listen to it for a few days and you're like, I just don't feel like listening to that song today. And you find another one that you like. Right. Healing music is the same. The most important thing is intention. Okay, we're back to when it comes to music with lyrics, always pay attention to the lyrics. Are the lyrics showing love, joy, peace? Are they tearing people down? Yes. Are they making you feel sad? Worship music is supposed to direct you to God, not talk about your woes and your pains. That's right. Okay. That's right. That is worship music. The rest of it is just feel good. Right. Kind of, I admit the song, I'm trading my song. Oh, I love that song. Yeah. I'm trading. Now, there was a time that song was great. I was in the middle of a marriage that was from H-E double toothpicks. Yeah. And that song helped get me out of it. So there are times, but that's not, I don't consider that worship music. No, I don't either. That's music that's ministering to you. Worship music is directly to God. That's right. You're kissing God's hand. So, and I think that worship music is what should belong in church. The other stuff you use on your own to help you get out of certain situations. Sure. Anyway, so when it comes to listening to other healing music, you listen to what feels good to you. And if it happens to be Bach, or if it happens to be Mahler or Beethoven, or something I create, or something that you hear. Now, instrumental music, you can listen to it and I really don't like that. There's people who listen to my stuff and they're like, I really don't like that song. Well, they try listening to the song a month later. They might feel different. What does your being want at that time? That's right. Then you choose it and say, okay, I'm going to listen to this, and I'm going to put this intention into the music as I listen. That's so good. There was a movie, I don't even know where it was, how I found it, couldn't even tell you. I probably couldn't find it again, but it was really interesting because
there was something that they were trying to figure out, like, because people, the demons were hiding in people, and so they couldn't figure it out. So what they would do is they would play Bach or Beethoven. They were playing this unclassic, and when they would play it, it would manifest. I was like, and I started to really think about that, because now what you're saying, I'm like, they the laws of this world is that if you're told a truth and then you don't like it and you don't say anything, you just kind of go along with the flow, then they say that, well, they told you and you just didn't believe, but that's on you, that's not on me. It's like this law that they're trying to do. It's like we have to start paying attention to the things that are out there, because now I listen to music, and there's some music that I listen to and I'm like, whoa, I didn't hear that before. Whoa, I wasn't listening to those lyrics. Those lyrics sit a little differently now because of what we are seeing in the news, what we're seeing being released.
Okay, remember, lyrics create a frequency.
That's it. And
so you'd be amazed at how many people like a song because of the beat or the melody.
Yes.
And have no idea what the words are.
Yes.
And as they're listening to it, they're still coming into some kind of agreement with that stuff. And I remember one story that I have to say this.
I love this.
To that point. I was a house mother at a sorority at the University of Idaho for 11 years.
Okay.
And, I would do all kinds of silly things. And it was Mom's Weekend one year.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the fraternities down the street, they put their big speakers out there and they were playing rap music.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there listening to the words. They've got all these moms with their kids.
Yeah.
Like little kids, brothers and sisters
walking
down the street. And I'm standing on the front of the sorority and I'm like, okay. So I just quietly walk down to the fraternity, stand in the sidewalk, and I'm listening to the music, and the guys are throwing football. They're trying, the guys throwing football casually at each other. And I started repeating the words back to what was in the song. I mean, like every other word was an F-bomb, which is most of rap music anyway, which is why I don't listen to rap music.
Yeah.
So anyway, I started repeating the words. And then I just said, is this the way you want to represent your fraternity for your moms? Then I turned and walked back up to my house. No sooner had I gotten into the house than they put something different on. They put some country music on. I have no idea what those words were, but there was a day in the age where they'd say, same one of these things. If you play music backwards, it's got this dumb message.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
now it's in your face.
Yeah. Well, back then, if you play
the Beatles,
your verse comes to music. You get your wife back, you get your house back, you get your car back.
Yeah. That's funny. That's super funny.
But, so we used to joke about it. But in reality, people do not pay enough attention to the lyrics of music. And you can understand how people are attracted to the beat.
Yeah.
Because the beat of music can put people into trances. And that's not necessarily anything wrong with that, because it's like anything else. It's like a knife.
Right.
Is it used for good or is it used for bad?
Right.
If you're doing something and you're creating a beat to bring people to a place of peace, of joy, that's going to be different.
Yes.
So it's a tool. The drum, the gong, the tools.
So if you think about a song, let's I'm going to come up with two songs. Okay. You have the song Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond, that everybody, when they hear it,
I laugh as one of those. It was one of the sororities' theme songs, and they changed the words, and they get out in the street and do their little dance. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going.
So there's Sweet Caroline, that as soon as people hear it, they can't help but sing it. Okay. Then there's another song, Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
That song is dark.
That song is dark. That's what I'm trying to say. There are two different songs that when people hear it, they immediately sing along.
But most of them have no idea what they're singing.
No. I mean,
you ask them when you're done, do you know what? Can you repeat the words to the song back to me? And when they realize what they've just said, you can see the look of shock on their faces. I'm like, then you wonder why we're sick. Because they've put intention into that song. Well, one of the best ways to do it is through music.
That's right. And so
and lyrics.
When I was listening, because, I know all the lyrics to Bohemian Rhapsody. I know it, I've sang it along. I know it. I'm just a poor, I know it all. I do. I know it, but I'm not thinking in my head what that means until I started to do some research and gone down some rabbit holes, finding out about some of the darkness of our country and about what's still going on. But I realized that is Bohemian Rhapsody about Bohemian Grove? Like, all of a sudden, like the Lord just started to talk to me about music, and he started to really highlight different things. I'm like, ooh, I can't listen. And now it's like I hear certain things and I'm like, ooh, I can't listen to that. Change the station.
Okay. Now let's take this whole frequency thing one step further.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the Seattle Seahawks just won the Super Bowl, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know I don't pay attention to football.
Oh, yeah, Bad Bunny. Yeah.
Not Bad Bunny. This whole thing is, if you paid attention to how Seattle responded.
Okay.
They have the 12th man, which are their fans.
Okay.
So, we all know with the CHOP and the Chaz Zone and all that went down in 2020 in Seattle. They took over Capitol Hill. And,
yeah.
Anyway, and the mayor and everything.
It took me a while. Yeah.
Okay. Here, all of a sudden, you have the entire city of Seattle plus a whole good chunk of the Northwest coming in line and cheering on their favorite team.
Yes.
I've been in the Kingdom. I was in the U of I marching band. We marched for the Seahawks many times when we were in the Kingdom. So it's not like I haven't been there and been in the Seahawks games. But at the same point, I'm sitting here. I want to partner with that frequency of joy. Yes. That they have all come into unity.
Right.
They have all come into agreement.
Yes.
And they're all loving on one another. They're cheering one another. I'm going to partner with that frequency of joy.
Right.
And drop some love bombs that come directly from the heart of the Father into that rejoicing.
Right.
And then let's spread that rejoicing from Seattle all the way through the entire United States.
Mm-hmm.
And allow that frequency of joy to be partnered with what God has, so that brings the calm and whatever it is that's going on to override and then overwrite the negativity that's going on. So prevalent in that area.
Right.
This is one of the most beautiful areas of the country you can ever be in. Try finding your best huckleberry spot. I love my huckleberries. And, and so that is where you're taking frequency to another level. You're taking a frequency that's already in existence, where there's this joy, where there's this happiness, where there's all this bodaciously awesome stuff going on. And you just partner with that and start dropping in God's joy, the glory of God, truth bombs, love bombs.
Yes.
And you just send it with that frequency, and it just goes out to everywhere.
That's
so every day I just speak more of that into it. And if other people will join me in doing that, we focus too much on what's going on in politics.
Yes.
That's what I say to that, because this is all greater than politics. Portland, okay, so let's release that frequency of joy and peace and all of that stuff that came, because there's a lot of people in Portland that supported the Seahawks.
Right.
They go to the game, they go right back to Portland.
Right.
Okay, so we just release that frequency with the Seattle Seahawks and the joy that I have thrown in some perfect love, some joy, truth bombs, love bombs, everything that comes from the heart of the Father, into that, and let's deliver it into Portland.
Right.
And whatever city that you live in, take that and practice releasing those frequencies into your own communities.
That's good.
Because that is done from a higher perspective.
Right.
A higher dimension.
Right.
Okay, because everything godly is in a higher dimension of heaven.
Right.
So you release everything from there. You don't pay attention to all the political that's going on.
Yeah, that's good.
You release into what you see, which is, I was telling you before, when I traveled with the People's Convoy, that trucker convoy across the United States, I played freedom, wake up, restoration. I always, restoration, wake up, freedom. There was one other.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Seahawks did give the glory for their win.
Yes, they did.
I mean, and that is good. But anyway, so I started releasing a bunch of frequencies.
Yeah.
I remember driving around the Capitol in Iowa, and I'm playing my drum. I'm like, I released truth. I released, and I was, and when I got back, I realized there were certain rhythms that I was playing. I notated those rhythms down, and I created the song, which you were playing some of that at the beginning.
I was.
One of the rhythms was breakthrough.
Yes. Yeah.
And it wasn't long after that I started seeing some things change.
Mm-hmm.
We think that we have to change the world by doing some of the stuff that we do in the earthly realm, but I literally see myself go into that realm of being in the Father, in Christ, in Him, where I'm seated in Christ, in heavenly places, where I'm in the allness of God. I am a co-creator in Christ.
That's good.
From that position, whether it's in the throne room or whether it's, being in the throne room is wonderful. You should all go there. Then you just see, okay, here, drop a truth bomb. Drop a truth bomb. Drop a joy bomb. Okay, let's drop another love bomb. And then I practice and I just continue releasing that into the situation. And I did that all the way from Olympia, Washington to Washington, D.C.
Wow.
And then so that's when, again, I've been doing the same thing with the Seattle Seahawks win.
Right.
Okay, they're the ones who came into unity.
Yes.
What was the unity? The Seattle Seahawks won.
Yes.
Then what you do is you just partner with that and say, okay, let's drop. Well, you might even take an eyedropper of love.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I just say truth bomb.
Right.
It was kind of like the year that they had the Christmas tree from this, at the White House. It came from Moscow. And I went down and they had a big Spud truck. I know it was the Spuds. And anyway, so they had the light on the side of it. And I'm like, I send this tree with love bombs, with truth bombs. And I wrote that on the side of the thing. And I went, what if the FBI sees that?
Well, but you know what? I think that, when we're thinking about it says that the weapons of the weapons of this world. What is it? I just got lost. But it's like we battle not with flesh and blood and powers and principalities. And so we know that we're not dealing with the earthly realm. We're dealing with the spiritual realm. And so when we're
in heavenly places.
Yeah, exactly. So if we need to start taking back, that's what I kind of want to do. If we're going to start taking back, we're going to start taking back all of these things, but we have to think about the currency that's going to give us the biggest bang for our buck, and that's love.
Right. So the currency of love is a frequency.
That's right. And so if we are constantly saying, okay, it's not about shame. God does not operate in shame.
Nope.
So anybody who thinks, we need to go and destroy people on social media, no, that's not God, because He loves. And that is the only thing that He knows is God is love. And so when we partner with that kind of love and we start to speak love out in everything, you want to start changing your home, start speaking love to your home. I told my sister, I said, because she's been with me since November, which has been great. She cooked for me, so I can smell it. It's so good. So I'm like, we're gonna be getting off soon. Because I can smell it. It smells so good.
I have 7 brothers. I've never had a sister, so I wouldn't know what having a sister is like.
Oh my gosh, she's been so wonderful. But I said to her, Tina, when you go back home, I said, you need to start speaking peace to the home. I said, you need to start speaking peace and putting your hands on the walls and on the doors and on the windows. You need to start speaking. I said, because everything that happened, there was a lot of chaos, a lot of confusion, a lot of trauma. I said, but if you start to take it back and start telling the house that this is now, it's under new ownership, that this is what's going to happen. This is going to be a place of peace. This is going to be a place of love. And if you start to anoint, go ahead.
It helps is to have some music that
Yes.
you know is laced with that.
Yes.
I have my music playing 24/7.
Yes.
It's not down here because this is the recording. The basement of this new house is all dedicated for the recording studio.
Right, right.
And it's also Northwest Ecclesia's home.
Yes.
It's home base now in Idaho. And so, but people come into my home and they're like, it just feels so peaceful here.
Yes.
And, that's releasing the goodness of God, just as Linda Jones said up there.
Yes.
Because my intention that's what's going to do. Now, when I lived in Old Town, I lived in an interesting neighborhood, but I placed a portal out in front of my house so that everybody who came down our street had to go through the portal. And I had a canopy of angels that were over my house. And all of a sudden, the territorial angel came up and she introduced herself to me. I'm like, hi, Tall Lily, how are you? We did a wholeness workshop there in 2023, and it was right after that the Lord said you can move.
Right.
We did a thing, and there's this guy who is a Native American, who is the husband of one of the presenters, had this encounter, and they stayed at my house. He comes into the house the next morning. He goes, okay, who is that Native American woman who appeared to me last night? I went, oh, you met the regional angel.
Oh, that's so cool.
And he was like, you know her? I said, yeah. But the interesting thing was I never engaged with her that much because I think she knew I was moving and I was only there temporarily. And I'd only, I met her not long after I was there, but that she came because she saw and felt the frequency over my place, which was different.
That's right.
And we did have that conversation.
Right. And I think that's kind of the thing, we're always wanting, we bring the smells, right? We bring in all of the essential oils, and we bring in all of the pictures, and we bring in the things that say God is love. And we, as Christians, we try to change our atmosphere to be a place, but the words and the things that we watch, the things that music that we play, the movies that we watch, the books and the conversations, all of that is going to affect where we live, because everything, like you said, not every television show has good intentions. In fact, there have been movies and stuff that had very, very bad intentions, and they were meant to traumatize and to open up things that we don't need to have open. But God is saying, I have given you authority. I have given you the ability that regardless of what mistakes we make, that we have a way that we can make things clean and fresh and new and lovely and pure. Right?
The key is get into that position before things are actually pure and clean.
Yes.
Because what happens is it's the frequency that we resonate, the love, the joy, the peace.
Yes.
That changes that.
Yes.
Because it's just like habits. They say it takes 90 days for us to change a habit.
Right.
Well, You're not going to chase the devil out with one time. He's not stupid. He's going to come back because he knows he can get you.
Right.
Or you're the own devil in yourself,
Right.
Because, like I said, sometimes I think I'm my own worst enemy.
Right.
Because of the fact that I've come into agreement with so many lies at some point.
Right.
That until I override and overwrite those lies so that I formed new foundations, that's going to still come after me.
Right.
It's a matter of making sure that you're consistent. As a professor teaching lessons, I know what it's like to spend in a practice room. I mean, you sit there and you practice your scales 2 hours a day, and your arpeggios and all your exercises and all the things that make you a good musician. And then, but people don't realize that when you do that, then you pick up a piece of music to sight read it, and you can just bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here. You practice releasing joy, releasing love, being in a situation that sucks, whatever situation it is. And in the midst of that, the Bible says, in everything give thanks. Not
That's
for.
right. Yes.
In everything give thanks.
Yes.
For this, you remember the song in the 70s? In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God. In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God. Do you remember that song?
No, because in the 70s, I was probably listening to Queen.
Yeah, I was
I was a little Catholic girl who I knew God. He talked to me, and when I was a kid, I didn't understand anything kingdom. I didn't know any of this stuff until I was in my 40s.
Is there anybody in the chat who remembers that song?
I don't know. Maybe somebody. Maybe.
I mean, the other one that we sang all the time is, you are freely, freely, free. You have received, freely, freely give. All those original, very, very simple worship songs.
Yes.
I mean, because I was in classical music.
Yes.
That's what I listened to.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't, and back then, I'm not even sure we had a TV most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I had access to a radio.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're talking early 70s.
Right.
Yeah, I can always find a positive in a song.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So sometimes it's just putting on the right music.
Yes.
That's going to help you switch from a negative. I call fear. I say fear and all of his negative cuddle buddies.
Right.
They can take a hike off the first pier and drown and stay drowned.
Yes.
I have no reason that I ever want to participate with anything that they offer.
Yes.
They'll suck.
Yes. Yeah. It's true. I agree with you. But then
it takes my soul
mm-hmm.
some time to partner with that.
Because
it's had too much practice doing something different.
That's so good. So, Dal, I want to pull up your books. Can you just tell us a little bit about each book?
Oh, okay. Accessing Your Spiritual Inheritance, I wrote with Alice and Seneca. This was not long after I went to an Ian Clayton conference in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Uh-huh. My mind was blown. Uh-huh. And then all of a sudden, I started practicing. Uh-huh. Here's the P word, practice.
Yep.
And we talk about going, because I had gone back and the Lord was helping me heal some of the trauma from my past.
Okay.
So then the next book after that was Accessing the Kingdom Realms, where I talk about some of my heavenly encounters and then include some of the sources where I got some of the information. Mike Parsons, mm-hmm. Ian Clayton, I think were the main two at that time. Mm-hmm. Then I think the next book was Healing in the Hebrew Months.
Yeah.
That wasn't long after I figured out what the musical frequencies are.
That's really cool. That's a really
Hebrew
cool
letters.
Mm-hmm.
And Seneca and Leah Lesesna, so Seneca Sherman with Freedom Flowers. She rocks, by the way. If you're not using flower essences, go find Seneca.
Yep.
They did theirs and mine was the third. And so there's some activations in there to partner with each of the letters that go with the frequencies of those Hebrew letters. Then after that, in 2020, I was just minding my own business, and having conversations with God. And I found myself in a strategy room in heaven, in an ancient document room, where he's putting pieces of paper in front of me and saying, go research these things. And this book came out of that. And that was about the time that Christopher Carter's book, Cosmic Shift, came out. But he told me, do not read that book. You need to hear from me.
Okay.
And there's a lot of similar things in there. But see, I knew that we were moving from Pisces to Aquarius. If you go look at the book of Revelation, even in Jesus's time, Jesus would say at the end of this age, they were just coming into Pisces.
Yeah.
A lot of the book of Revelation happened not long after Jesus died.
Okay.
I just put that out there. That's people's own research to do on your own. But this book talks about some of that because we don't understand our personal identity enough that we let someone else tell us who we are.
Right.
Sorry, that's not a game I want to play.
Right.
I am in Christ. He is in me.
Yes.
We have to get to that position where we are seated in Christ.
That's right.
Where we function out of our true identity that was formed at the beginning of time.
Right.
Then we are co-creators in Christ. And then we function out of that complete allness of God. So I started that in the Kingdom Shift. Then the Maturing as a Mystic came out of the 2019 gathering that Northwest Ecclesia did, because I was also a public school teacher and did, taught K through 6 general music, and then I did junior high band. That was entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And I subbed at high school band all the time anyway. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I was teaching at the college. So this is showing how Christian maturity goes through just like school maturity. Most churches never get people beyond 3rd grade.
Wow.
Why? Because we expect the pastor to speak into us, and we run to people to get prophetic words.
Yep.
We run to them to confirm what we think God is telling us.
Yep.
At what grade level do children start thinking for themselves and functioning on their own? Generally not until 4th and 5th grade, where they begin to comprehend.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you get into high school,
mm-hmm.
then you start having to comprehend and coming up with your own ideas.
Right.
So I call that Kingdom High School.
Right.
Most churches never get to that level.
Right.
Because they want you to be still sucking on the teats of the pastoral staff. I hate to say it that way.
That's true.
Then when you graduate from high school, then you go to Kingdom College, where you have to come up with your own ideas.
Right.
Then you become part of God and Sons.
Yes.
The business God and Sons, where you co-create.
Yes.
And where you start doing all those things. And then that's where I tell, there's the Maturing in the Mystic main book, which has that part, that going through the different grades. And then there's the part where I tell some of my stories of going through the eminent domain, mm-hmm. where I learned some of those lessons. Then the Transforming Mindsets. Oh, wait, the other book is But Words Will Never Hurt Me.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oops.
that I knew there was one more.
Yeah.
But Words Will Never Hurt Me is the one I wrote about the abuse.
Okay.
And one of my friends who'd read that book says, you are not that person anymore.
Come on.
You need to write a sequel. So I did this book a year ago.
Okay.
But then the Lord said, you need to add 2 more chapters for the move to Lewiston.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working on those now, and those updates will be up probably within the next month.
Wow.
I just have to do one more edit.
Okay.
So yeah, the first book was But Words Will Never Hurt Me, which
mm-hmm.
I had written. They're all from journal entries, and I did not put that book out because I was so embarrassed with the sickness that I wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. Plus, I had to write my dissertation, so that took a little bit more precedence than writing the book. So that didn't come out until 2009, and then I redid that in 2015. So the Transforming Mindsets, basically, this is showing you how I walked from But Words Will Never Hurt Me till this point right here.
Wow.
And both stories take place where I grew up, Moscow, even though I've lived in other places, because obviously I've gone all over the country to go to school, because you mentioned the schools I went to. So, I've done hop, skip, and a jump in a variety of places, but I keep ending up here. I'm 30 minutes from Moscow. I just go up Lewiston grade, and there I am. But he calls us to different areas.
Yes.
And this is where I am now. And who knows what book is going to come next? Because most of the time it's God says, we're going to write a book. Oh, really? What's it going to be about? Well, I'll show you. Sit down, start writing.
Yep. And sometimes it's hard to do that. Sometimes
I haven't,
very hard.
See, I say it's not going to be hard.
Well, I think I need to take that. I think I need to start changing the way that I speak. I have to say it's not going to be hard.
Well, see, because he gives me the words.
Yes.
He gives me
because it's already written, right? It's already written.
Because that's one of the things that I point out.
Yeah.
In I think it's in Transforming Mindsets. I talk about it. No, in Kingdom Shift, where, when people die, and any books that were on their hearts are printed and put in this ancient document library.
Oh,
they were already pre-written.
Yeah, they are. Well, I had an encounter with Jesus, and he showed me all the books. And I looked at him and go, "Why do you look so sad?" He said, "Because these are the books that are never going to be released on Earth." I went, "Oh, no, my books are not going to be on there." But if I don't get my stuff together and start saying I got to just do it, but it's hard because of fear.
Fear and fear's cuddle buddies.
That's right.
Don't cuddle with those guys. They're not fun cuddlers.
They're not fun cuddle buddies, and I don't like them.
Well, it's no different than, I was talking with Dave, the recording engineer today, and I'm like, I'm doing everything on Audacity.
Yeah.
And even though I have Reaper, I'm like, I haven't had time to really learn Reaper. You get so comfortable using one system.
Sure.
But that beautiful $2,500 microphone deserves better than Audacity.
Come on.
And so at some point I need to sit down and get comfortable with being a recording engineer myself.
Well, I think that you can do it. So let me ask.
Well, and so you can write a book.
I've written
one. I declare over you that writing is not hard.
Yes.
That when you sit down, that you hear directly from the heart of the Father.
Yes. There you go, Del.
Yay. So you did.
I did. That was my first. And it's funny that you said the heart of the Father, because look at what the title is.
Oh, wow. Touching
the Father's heart through prayer.
Yes. How wonderful. And I didn't even know you'd written that. There you go.
Yeah. So there you go. But I was going to say, I would love to have you come back.
Sure. Let me know when you want me
to. I would love to have you come back. But next time that you come back, I would love for you to show us what it looks like to do a healing thing. To actually do. Can you do that?
Yeah, I can. We did that today. How well does the sound come across on your side?
Great.
Do you have a thing like Zoom for using for sound for original sound for musicians?
No, I mean on Restream, if you play music, it goes through. Like on Zoom, it doesn't go through.
Well, if you have original sound for musicians, it will.
Oh, okay.
You have to set your settings, because I had to do that when I was at Whitworth during COVID.
Okay.
Do you try teaching clarinet lessons? Well, my students hated it because I always knew what notes they were playing.
Yeah.
Because I could hear the notes.
Yeah.
And they didn't like it.
Well, that's why I was saying, I as we were talking, I'm like, oh, how much fun would it be for you
all
to
of these beautiful things?
I know, to play some gongs.
Look at this gong. This is my 40-inch gong.
Okay. Oh, careful.
Now tell me if you can hear this.
Okay, I'll tell you.
All right.
Go ahead. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Try a flumi on it.
Okay. That was a little harder to hear.
So I have, many different gongs, as you can see, and different beaters are used for different gongs.
Yeah. But what we could do is maybe put like a microphone or something on you, so that when you get closer.
Probably what I would just bring this. The engineer brought over this table today.
Yeah.
So
if you,
it's a matter of there's the crystal bowls,
right
all over here.
Yeah.
We just done a sound bath for somebody today.
Yeah.
And he wanted to watch me do the sound baths, but I have, all these different toys and things that go in here and I don't use the keyboard on the sound baths. The crystal bowls and different percussion instruments for all the sound baths.
Well, I think that if we can figure it out, I think that would be a really special touch by prayer.
And then we could do that. I could do a sound bath at the end. I just have to figure out how good a quality the sound will be on your end. If I use my
what you can do.
If I use my Blue Yeti, I should be okay.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say actually because I have a Yeti.
All right.
Actually, no, I do. I have a Yeti.
Okay. Well, we got a couple people on here. Let me just go bring this closer, and you guys tell me if you can hear these bowls. You guys are my guinea pigs.
We're the guinea pigs.
You don't look at what pants I'm wearing. They don't match my top.
That's okay. We're not looking.
We're going to laugh.
I know. Everybody's excited about this, Dal.
I'm
just telling you.
All right. I got to move this.
Okay.
Closer because
and people are saying they could feel it. They could feel the sound.
Right. Well, you know, I gonged the electrician today. He was like, what? Okay, here goes.
Okay. No. Maybe. A little bit. Yeah, now we can. Woo! Yes.
Okay, here's the name of God.
Okay.
All right, I got to use a different mallet. Yod, hey, Vav, hey. Can you hear that okay?
Yep, I can hear that.
Okay, it'll get better.
It would get better when
I have
your microphone is close to the computer, so it's coming through the computer. Whereas if you set up a microphone to the sound, you would be able to hear it, and you can change it.
I might have to use the R88 to do that, but I don't know how to put that into it.
I can help you do all that, Dal.
All right, here. Can you hear that okay?
Yep.
Right. Then I have the crystal pyramids that are up here.
Ooh.
Where's the beater?
Yep.
So you can hear that okay?
Yep. Yep.
Reindeer antlers.
We hear that too.
And then.
Yep. We can hear that.
So I use all of those things when I'm doing sound baths.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear most of it. So but we just have to do a couple little tweaks. That's it.
I'm just going to move over to this spot. There's one of the Northwest Enthusiast Angels. Which one is that? That's Refiner's Fire.
Ooh.
He's a pretty bodacious angel, by the way.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice.
But anyway, and we take all those to our gatherings, and our next gathering is in June, by the way.
Uh-huh.
And it's in Lewiston. So the next time you just pick when, and at the end you can do a sound bath.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. So I was going to say, would you like to pray us out and drop some joy bombs in the process?
Sure, that light is pain in the keister.
I know.
Yeah, it's not you. It's where I just picked a different chair.
That's okay.
See, now you should feel excited because no one else has seen my basement yet.
I'm very excited. Hey, listen, I feel very honored and privileged, to be quite honest.
Thank you. Thanks for everybody being on.
Absolutely.
Okay. Can I be Dell's au pair? Sure. You want to come to Lewiston?
Listen, Diana might. She might. Amy, for the love of us, said she just ordered a raindrop drum.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, you got the right audience today.
A tone drum. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to declare over everybody.
Yes, that's perfect.
So I declare that everybody is so infused with the absolute perfect love of God that they begin resonating from the inside of their being, from in their heart. They resonate that in the heart and just let it sit there and bubble up. And then as they resonate that, then it just comes out throughout their entire being to all those around them.
Mm.
So everybody on this call, just receive the fact that you are resonating with God's perfect love. Yes. See yourself in his heart, that you are in training and tangling with the very essence of who he is. Forget what's going on in your life right now, because this overrides any negativity of that.
Yes.
So I declare that perfect love overrides all negativity that is in or around you, And then as you entrain and entangle with that love of God, that means coming into agreement with who God is and his love for you, his love for mankind in general, that begins to resonate out from you to all the others in your house, to your neighbors, to your street, to your town, to your county, to your state. And then just see that being resonated all the time. Think about it. Think about it for just put it on, put an alarm or something on your phone to help remind you to do it. And just take a moment to just feel that love. And Father, I just release your perfect love into everybody who listens to this, whether they're on live or whether they're listening to it later. They're listening and resonating with the very essence of who you are, and they become one with you, that they too can function in the allness, likeness, and image of God.
Yes.
Like a vibration, Amy says.
Yes.
So I release that in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, that we are one in Christ.
Yes, amen. Del, you are so awesome. Thank you so much just for sharing your heart and sharing your wisdom, sharing your music, sharing your stories. You're a good sharer.
Yeah, I like to have a good time.
We do. We had a good time when we were together. We did.
We did. We laid on the floor in the bookstore all the time.
It's my favorite place to be. I'm just going to say.
Yeah, it will be this year at the gathering as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, if I can make it, I think I might be speaking at another conference in June. So
yeah.
But we'll see.
Anyone is on the call. It's Northwest Ecclesia, NWEKKLESIA.com. The information is there if you want to attend.
Yep. And we have, I have your website up. Thank you to Linda Jones. She put it all up there, so you can go to her website. There you go. So you can go and find her at Hungerford.com. You can go find her music. If you like her music, you can go find it there, or you can go on to YouTube. She has a channel on YouTube. You can also go get her books on Amazon. So you can go and get a little piece of Del if you want some.
Well, and if you really want to dive into the geekiness of the frequencies of creation, I have several blog posts on it on the website.
There you go.
Heavily music. It weighs a lot in music theory.
There you go. There you go. So if you guys are interested in finding out about some music, finding out about some healing, just even finding out about like how to fine tune or retune your frequency, go and check out Del's website and get some of her music. But thank you, Del, for spending. We were on for 2 hours, which is not normal for a Touch by Prayer, but I so enjoyed time with you. This has been such a
what happens when you have a good time, right?
That's it. So hang tight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget, tomorrow is Crown Chats, 8:45 Eastern Standard Time in the morning, where we're going to have some coffee and Dr. Eddie Torregrossa. Ooh, it's going to be good. We are going to be talking about armoring up, because guess what? It's not what you think. It's not what you think. And it's time for us to become very wise and learn that we have weapons of mass destruction that can start to shift and change your situation. So you want to tune in tomorrow with Eddie Torregrossa. Boom.
Love
and, you want I listen, I have one more bomb for you. I'll show you this one. Ready? Where is it?
Send a love bomb.
There it is. No. That's when God drops the mic.
I was laughing at that one too. That was a good one. That was pretty bodacious.
Wasn't that fun? That was fun. Hey, listen, we like to have fun. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. If this has blessed you, please make sure that you share it, like and share the broadcast. Make sure that you subscribe to Touch by Prayer TV over on YouTube, and follow me. We're going to have some fun this year. So get ready to grow, to learn, and to go and to touch people, because that's what we're supposed to do. Make people's lives better with just one single touch from the Father. Thank you so much. Have a great night and God bless. Hang tight, Del. Okay.